Hey everyone, it's EJ from iDesign.com, and I am really excited to announce the newest version of Text Edge Effects. We're at version 1.4 right now, and added a lot of really cool features since version 1 came out. So I'm really amped and anxious to talk to you about the newest features. But I know some of you out there have never heard of Text Edge Effects before or don't know what it's all about. Basically, Text Edge Effects came about because of my desire to have something that gave you more bevel options inside of Cinema 4D, other than your just fillet caps and stuff like that. And I work with text all the time, so if you work with 3D text in Cinema 4D, it's a must-have. I mean, I developed this look in a matter of minutes. And the nicest thing about it is there's an infinite amount of options of different types of bevels. Let me go in here and just dive right in and show you what this is all about. So if I click on Text Edge Effects, you have your bevel options, right? And this is just the settings that have been here since version 1. And you have your front bevel options, your back bevel options. You can enable or get rid of either the front or the back. So say you just want a front bevel, that's fine. You can also, for each of them, you can choose your own bevel profile. So if I just go come here, you can see the profile view. This back bevel is just a profile spline, and all these will be familiar from all of your spline objects that are found up in here. But you can also there's some custom ones that are made just specifically for Text Edge Effects, like a frame. You can scale your bevel as well. You can Z-scale it. You can offset your bevel. So these are just all the stock customizable options in here. So you can see that with all of this, and you can define your own custom spline. So if you make your own custom spline in here, you can just drag and drop it in here, and that will be used as your bevel profile, basically. So you have all these options. You have your growth. I mean, there's just so many options. It's mind-boggling. But just to keep this short and sweet, so you have all your options, and basically why I wanted something to streamline the whole bevel process is like, you can develop this look, and if you did this all manually, you would have to make everything editable, and that would be a pain in the butt if you ever wanted to, say you develop this look for a sports team and they want 50 different words made and animated in their sports package or whatever. So the whole reason why Text Edge Effects exists is because it streamlines that whole process. You make this really cool bevel look, right, for whatever you're working on. You can just come in this text settings and just change it. And all the bevels, all the work that you put in there, all the custom bevels, everything just automatically updates. So you can just blast through iterations of different words for every single animation that you or text look that you need. So that's basically why Text Edge Effects exists, is to just streamline that whole process and make super sexy bevels super fast. So I've been, ever since we've made it, I've been using it all the time in my daily workflow, and a lot of people out there have been really showing me ways that they've used it that's really cool as well. So but that's what's been around since version 1, so we've made it better, stronger, and faster, right? So let's see. So the first thing that we added, I think we added this in 1.3. I haven't done one of these updates in a while, so shame on me, but we're just going to go through everything that's new. Is we have this new option called Text Edge Effects, right? And normal, that turned on, that just automatically enables the text settings, right? If we turn that off, and if we go and see custom spline effects, when you turn the Text Edge Effects option off, you can now use your own custom logo and put that bevel that you developed and put it on your own logo spline, right? So this is just a normal logo spline right here. It's a little bit flipped around, but you can see it there. So by turning off that text edge effect, it disables using the text object, and now you're using your default spline that you just drop in here, and you can use your custom spline or custom logo and apply a cool bevel onto that. So when you turn that back on, you just enable the text object again. So pretty cool feature, because before it was two separate objects and it was just kind of a pain in the butt. So now that is completely streamlined. So that's been since version 1.3. So all right, so what's new with version 1.4, right? Let me just go ahead and delete this, and let's just get a whole brand new text edge effects object in here. So you just drag and drop from your content browser, easy as that. What we added that is brand new to text edge effects 1.4 are these inner bevels. So you have your normal bevels. You have your normal bevels here, right? You can enable them, turn them off, but now we have this nice inner bevel action going on. So you have your front bevel, back bevel options. We have this new tab called inner bevel settings, and you can turn them on and off, and you can really see what turning on, enabling the inner bevels does. Basically, it's curving the inside of this text to the shape of your defined bevel, and you have a spline editor to control it, which is awesome. So bear in mind, you have to keep 4 spline points in the spline editor to match up with how many points there are to actually make this to work. So if you delete that, it's going to screw it up. So if you do accidentally delete something, all you have to do is go in here and just go reset the default, and you're good to go with the little camel hump here. So you can change the interpolation. You can just do linear or B-spline, and you can really start to see, if you go in here, if we change this to linear, it just it doesn't have a nice smoothness as it did before. So you can mess around with the interpolation to smooth things out. Again, make sure that you don't flip this over, because that will kind of have the spline kind of fold over on itself, and that kind of looks funky. So again, if you ever screw up and you're playing around and building your bevel, just go in here, reset to default. That's your Command Z right there. So aside from messing around with stuff in here, you can also kind of get your bevel height, so you can get some really funky text going on, really bubbly text with this inner bevel. You can also turn off the caps in case you wanted something that you could just see through. Come up with something cool looking there, right? Again, you can change the depth, and the spline will actually follow, right? So just like with the bevels. And if we go into the bevel options here, say you're messing around, and let's turn the caps back on actually. So you're messing around in here and you're like, okay, I really like that look of this inner bevel. I want to save that, right? It's really simple. All you got to do is go in and go to, let's make sure I have this here, and we're going to go to save data and wait for it. Bam. All right, so you can actually save this spline this custom inner bevel spline by doing that. And let's just save to the desktop here and just say, let's just call it wavy, right? And you go in here and it saves. So now if we go back to reset the default and say we want to recall that spline again, or you just want to, you saved it before and you want to use it again, you just go to load data and just choose wavy, and there you go. And that inner spline bevel loads up again. So it's really, really awesome to be able to save and reload your saved custom inner bevel splines. And we've actually packaged Text Edge Effects version 1.4 with a few custom inner bevels or inner bevel splines. So if we go in here, if you go into your Text Edge Effects inner bevel presets folder that comes with that's inside the zip folder, you can choose any one of these. So we got bubble, which is actually, I need to invert that spline, so you have your invert, or if you want to just kind of do the negative, you can do it whatever way you want. So that's bubble. I'm gonna load another one, load data, curved valley. Let's see what that one is. So you get this inner curved valley. You can flip that and adjust this, right? So you got the curved valley. Let's try one more. Let's go to pointy, and it's pretty pointy, right? So there you go. So that's inner bevels, which is super awesome that you can just control your bevel, your inner bevel with this spline editor. And there's a lot of stuff you can do inside this spline editor, just by changing interpolation here, and just really getting in depth with just matching. Say you want this bevel, this point to match over here, you go in here and just match all of your tangents and stuff like that. So it gets pretty in depth and crazy to get pretty precise how you want your inner bevel spline to look. So so that's load data and save data, and remember to reset the default if you ever screw up and need to just go back to square one, and also enable front and back cap, and you can turn that off and you get back to your normal text object and come back into here and enable bevels, and you got your bevels again, and everything that came with Text Edge Effects from the get-go. So inner bevel is the big huge new feature in version 1.4 with your spline editor that controls the look of your inner bevel, which is just, I've been gushing over how awesome that is to have control of your inner bevel's text spline with that spline editor. So that's all that's new in 1.4. So we've come a long way since just having cool bevel profile added to your text, and again, everything is editable. Hope I spelled editable right, but so you can see that everything updates. Your inner spline is still there. One thing to watch out for is, depending on what font you're using, sometimes the inner spline will go a little bit wonky. Let's see if I can actually get it to work. Let's try that. Okay, see how it gets a little bit wonky and it flips over to the opposite side? We have a fix for that, and you can actually go into inner bevel settings and do flip inner bevels, and that'll flip it right back into place. So it's something weird with how the fonts are managed inside of Cinema 4D that'll flip the spline alignment or whatever. So there you go. That's Text Edge Effects, and making really badass bevels super fast. You got the inner bevels now, and you have your all your custom presets here that you want, and you can make your own and save them for later, and tons of stuff. I mean, you had infinite options before. Now it's infinite times 2 with inner bevels. So thanks for watching, and thanks for checking out Text Edge Effects.